After running both fans up, I found out that one of them, this one right here, was balanced pretty nicely and sounded great, but this one was out of balance. At about third throttle, it would screech against the casing. So I tried the sandpaper method, where you try to even out the blades. That didn't work, so I went to take the actual fan off and balance it, and it turns out the set screw was assembled so you couldn't get it with the hole provided for your screwdriver. So I tried drilling my own hole and gave up. So what I did was ordered the HobbyKing 7-blade 64mm setup and a motor that a lot of people use. Hopefully next video I'll have a run-up video of the new fan so we can get on moving. Next I went back to the wings. Last time I had the dihedral braces ready to go in, so I epoxied that in. So I got the dihedral, and after gluing the lights in, I determined the scale wheel size is going to be 1 3/4 inch. So I made the retract struts, placed them on, and I did them the same way with my DC-6 with a wheel collar soldered onto the strut. And here's the right one, and here's them with the wheels on. There's the wheel wells that'll later be layered on with more foam, and there's the retracts in place. Here's them working. They work really well. Right now I'm sheeting the top of the wings with some Depron, and I'll trim everything, do the sheeting in the center panel. I'm going to leave this part open for the receiver. The wiring is mostly complete, so I don't have to worry about that. Obviously, an important part of any build is the wing attachment process. So for this plane, what I've done is I took the center fuselage sheeting right here. I laid the original car model plans on top, and where it plotted its own airfoil, I laid mine on top, trying to make sure that there's about 0 degrees incidence. It doesn't line up perfectly because the original one is symmetrical. I'm using Clark Y. And what I'm going to do is, actually I've already done this side. I traced it along the airfoil, the top of the airfoil. I cut a straight line perpendicular to the center line. And so when I lay it over the fuselage, I have a wing saddle ready to go. After the wing sheeting finished drying, I did some final spackling and sanding before starting the covering. And the covering is Ultra Coat Percolate Silver, which should add a nice metal effect. Here's a completed flap system. Right now they're at about 55 degrees down deflection. I'm probably going to be using more like 45 degrees in the air. Here's them going up. And here's a takeoff position and then down position. I also finished the ailerons. They're hinged and hooked up to the servos. On the next plane to build, I'll have to work on getting less servo buzz. So I'll show you how the hinges are set up. I also added styrene flap caps over each of the wing hinge lines on top. Here we're looking down the bottom of the flap, a hinge. The full scale DC-9, about right here on the inner part, has triple slotted flaps. Then there's 3 vanes running along the hinge that are kind of like triangular. I attempted that at first out of wood, but I just kept cracking, so I just got these control horns. These are Emax 1-inch control horns on the inner part, and then these are some durable micro ones I found because I ran out of the Emax. One side is the part that's hard mounted to the wing, is just glued on with a piece of steel or a piano wire in there. Then the side that's connected to the wing, I just put a little washer in there, and it holds it nice. It's not very pretty, but it works, as you can see. And then same deal for the rest. See you in part 3.